Okay, I'm gonna do a mermaid DIY next. I'm gonna use 3 long signs, just whatever I had left over in my stash, plus one of these little shore living swimming mermaids. Now, I've shown you several options for the mermaids, like with shells for tails, sequences tails, all different options, hawk Lewis tails. This one's gonna be the easiest. Not the most detailed, but I still kind of like it. I use it for my decor. It's simple, but easy. So first I want to make a very heavy duty sign. And I'm going to use 3 of these longwood signs from the Dollar Tree to do that. I'm going to put them all together end to end to just make a long, solid sign that we can attach that mermaid to. But first I need to cover up all of the writing that's on there. So I'm just going to go over it with a couple coats of ivory till you can't read all of the writing back there anymore. I like DIYing with these signs because they're nice and heavy duty and they're pretty versatile. You know, when you can put like more than one of them together, which is what we're going to do for this DIY. Now, I want it to look coastal farmhouse, so we're going to distress. Working in one direction with some antique wax by Waverly, especially focusing on those edges and giving that faux weathered wood grain look. Gonna follow that up with a baby wipe and distress it until I love it. And I thought it would be easier to paint these before I attach them together. That way I didn't have to worry about any paint like going down in the cracks between the signs. And I'm gonna follow that distressing up with a little bit more ivory just because I thought I made it a little bit too dark. Once I get it exactly the way I want it, I can start putting these 3 signs together. They do still kind of have crazy backs because they're like 2-sided signs, but I will cover that just to have a finished product so it doesn't look so tacky on the back. But I'm just attaching them all together with hot glue, just squeezing the signs together. And we have a nice coastal long sign that can stand on its own on my shelf. And this is what the back looks like at this point because they're all 2-sided. So I'm just going to do a quick, easy back cover with just some wood grain contact paper, just something cheap. And trying to cover up the majority of the back. I just used a sanding sponge to cut that along the top and the bottom. And I think that looks a lot better. Sometimes I don't bother with the back of my projects, but when it's something that I'm going to have out all the time, like I do this mermaid sign, I want it to look a little bit more professional. Now I do go in there with my ivory and also paint my sides and just kind of touch up my sign anywhere that you're going to be able to see. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's going to be a nice base for my mermaid. I wanted to do like a beachy blue mermaid. So we're going to use this little swimming mermaid. And I am saving the hanger because I'm actually going to use it on this DIY just to make things a little bit simpler. Again, this is probably my easiest mermaid DIY that I've done. I'm just gonna mix some turquoise acrylic paint together with some water because I wanna stain this kind of like I did with the seahorse and bring out that wood grain. And I don't wanna cover up all the mermaid scales because I wanna be able to see where they are so that I can decorate it further. I don't worry about popping off the little starfish. I just went ahead and painted it because I can always go back and repaint it white. Sometimes I have found when I'm trying to pop those off, they break. So sometimes it's easier to leave them in place. I'm just following that up with a paper towel to wipe off the excess. And then again, painting that little starfish back ivory. And I'm just going to leave like the hair and the body and the tail, like all this beautiful blue color. It's not going to be like have the sequins or anything like that or any of the raised scales. I'm just going to draw them on. I have a Sharpie that's kind of a little bit of a darker color, as you can see there. And I thought I could just draw every single one of the scales on all the way down just to provide a little bit of contrast. And I think it looks a little bit better than the original just black lines. Kind of brings out the detail without too much. Now, again, I have the holes from the existing hanger, so we're just going to use the hanger. I'm just going to make it look like the little mermaid is like tied onto the back of the sign that's displaying it. It's going to provide another little coastal touch with like the jute hanger. Just using it because, again, this one was kind of an easy short living DIY. I thought it could just hang over the top like that. Sometimes simplicity looks really pretty. Now, I did want to give it a little bit of a coastal farmhouse vibe, so I'm just distressing with ivory in one direction, just across, wiping off the excess with a baby wipe. Just softened it up a little bit and made it look more distressed, kind of like the sign that we made. And now we can attach it. It's going to be super easy. I just want to kind of glue it to the front and then also glue the hanger around the back. And that's one way you can get around the holes on there, is just to go ahead and use them sometimes rather than try to fill it up or decorate over it. So just a hot dot of hot glue there on the back to secure that in place. And she is ready. I love the simplicity, the colors on her. It's very kind of basic, but I kind of like it. And this is how it looks in my home. Nice and coastal farmhouse, don't you think?